Anything that's fun and enjoyable needs to be earned. That's how our culture. And I'm calling bullshit is your birthright to have pleasure and fun and a good time. Let's give it a little bit of more lightness for a change. And I hope that's appreciated. And the reason why I like exploring the bliss topic is because usually when we go deep, when we decide to take up consciousness as a practice in whichever form, that means that we're tunneling into our inner worlds and into our depths, and we find all kinds of monsters and aliens and any part alive there that is more or less tragic or uncomfortable or all these things. And then we forget that life is here to be fun and to be alive and to be enjoyable. Also, that's nothing our society teaches us, because anything that's fun and enjoyable needs to be earned. That's how our culture. And I'm calling bullshit is your birthright to have pleasure and fun and a good time. And also, if anybody wants to contribute to this system, planet, people around you, it will be very hard to do that if you're not saturated. Saturated means that you have enough inner richness, and that usually only comes to be felt if there is joy and abundance and bliss and love and all these gorgeous things. So if you want to serve, you need to do that from a full cup. My cup runneth over. That's the thing we need to aim for if you want to be of service without depletion, without martyrdom, and without burnout. So it's super good to enjoy yourselves. So let's look at what is abundance and what is all that. It means to be saturated. It means to be so happy that you're actually grateful. Very simple. You can harvest. There's so much within you that you can actually share that from a position of overflow and not from a position, okay, I've got a little, but you get half. That's what society does. That makes all of us constantly kind of scaling ourselves down. You know, when you feel super happy and somebody is next to you and you feel like you have a bad conscience because you're like, am I supposed to be this happy? You're in trouble here. That is exactly the pattern that society teaches us. It's not okay to be in a great mood. You know, when somebody asks you, how are you? And you're like, fantastic. And everybody's like, what? People would expect you to say, yeah, it's been a bit tough. Or I'm handling it. Or how was yours? That's a cultivated answer with or without swear words. But to say brilliant, fantastic, everything is falling into place, that's a very unusual answer to give. And that's where you can see that we are not taught to have a great and joyful, enjoyable life. We are taught to work hard for, I don't know, money, for our relationships, for our bodies. If we want to look good, everything has to be hard earned, because otherwise it's not worth anything. Do you resonate? While I'm talking, please, whatever comes up in you, share one or two lines, anything that you feel like, yeah, that's me. Is it the bad conscience, or is it the constantly making myself a little smaller? The wondering, have I actually given an honest answer here? I'm actually quite okay. Am I allowed to say this? Or is this something that does not apply to you? You feel like, no, my surroundings actually allow me to be my full self if I'm in a good mood. I actually am in a good mood most of the time. I don't feel it so tough. What's coming up? While I'm talking, I'm continuously talking, but anytime something comes up while I'm talking in the next minutes, please say, yeah, that's it. Or, that resonates. Let me know. Let all of us know. So if we want to be abundant on the outside, which basically everybody nowadays aims for, like, you know, you want to have either money or impact. Those are the most important things. We all want love too and all of that, but in purpose, we want to have cash and we want to have impact. And we understand that cash is necessary to have impact. And sometimes people just want the cash and a little impact. And sometimes people want a lot of impact and cash is like a means to an end. It doesn't matter, but this is what we aim for. But that means we have to have a certain abundance. Money is abundance. It's any kind of line that people come up with, you know, in German or English, like the typical cultivated lines, what money is associated with. We don't talk about money, or money has to be hard earned, or money might be dirty. People call money dirty, etc. If you exchange any line you ever hear about money, take the word money and switch it with energy. And then think about what you're actually saying or what they're saying. Money is energy, that's it. Manifest energy. So if we want to be abundant, we need to consider that energy thing. And positive energy is anything around bliss, basically. Can be softer. Bliss doesn't necessarily have to be orgastic. It can also be a very sweet, tiny gratefulness. But it's beautiful and it's positive. So if you want to make money, you need to be in positive feelings. Otherwise, you'll never make it. Impossible. You will not attract it if you speak manifestation language. So if you have inner riches, you will have outer riches. Very simple. So if you want to feel bliss, if you want to feel inner riches, you have to have energetic containers for them, which means there needs to be space in your body where you can feel this. Usually when we look about embodiment, when we go about embodiment, we ask people, so where does your grief sit? Or where is the anger? Can you locate it? But have you ever asked yourself, where is the love? Where is the joy? Where is the playfulness? I've recently bought a brand new meditation of Joe Dispenza. It was a bundle with something else, and I thought, let's take that too. I had no idea what I was buying, but I thought, let's get the bundle. 49 euros, dollars, whatever. Bought it, downloaded it, listened to the piece that I wanted to buy, and then 2 days later, I was like, what's the other thing I got in the bundle there for $5 more? And the meditation takes you in about like 37 minutes, quite lengthy, into 50 different versions of positive emotions. And the only thing he does is he says, feel it in your heart, feel it in your mind, feel it in your life. That's the only thing he does. Beautiful music in the background, live song. And I was like, 50 versions of bliss. And I realized how hard it is. You know, I might be even able to name you 50 versions of grief, but 50 versions of positive emotions in 37 minutes in my body here and then everywhere. I was like, shit, I'm not used to do that. And I realized how little our awareness is on the positive, because we always kind of, you know, we always work in the muck. Also, all the stages up until 4 are much more occupied with anything that we consider as a negative emotion. So all the emotions that, stage 4 has the emotions, for example, of pride. That's the first thing that we would consider somewhat positive, because everything below is either anger or frustration or, you know, the trial and error of acquiring skill. There are a lot occupied with acquiring skill, and skill is trial and error, which means you're frustrated and it works out, and then you're frustrated and then it works out. But that it's working out is not a happy moment. It's more like check, next. Do you understand what I mean? The emotionality there is not yay celebration, it's next. Okay, I'm under a lot of pressure, I need to get things done. And that's what I mean. So in our culture, the older we get, the more we are actually focused on getting things done. The younger we are, usually we're more allowed to be playful. And we might have acquired that as a personality trait to be very playful and to do things with joy. So it's not necessarily stage. It's also what state do I prefer? And am I used to going into playfulness and expressiveness and no, yeah, true. Could look at that. Can I make it a game? Or is this like, oof, I'm not good enough. I should have known this. See, very different personality traits. And sometimes it's really just that's my state today. Or 2 hours I was brilliant and now I just have a headache or I'm thirsty or something like that. We need energetic containers to do that. Apart from the fact, like everybody who is more alive, as in more playful, usually has energetic containers in the body to do it. How can you gather energetic containers? How can you make your inner space for positive emotions bigger? There's practices. One thing you can do is, first of all, let's take playfulness. First of all, let's take 30 seconds, eyes closed. Where is my playfulness? Where is it in my body? Where do I find this? Everybody feel, and if you can locate it, then put it in the chat. I've actually never asked myself the question with playfulness either. Yeah, mine's basically my tailbone. It's a funny part to have this, but it's like you want to wriggle, don't you? Somehow. Toes is also cool. So if you find this place, and then you can do, you know, when you look at something on your phone and you do this motion to kind of make it bigger, you swish, so you swish it open. I don't know how to say that properly. In your mind's eye, wherever that is, make it bigger energetically, not the part. So try to kind of get it from the place where you locate it in the rest of your body. Like make it spread out the feeling. So eventually, and you can do this with breathing, you know, wherever it's located, you can do this. I always do the finger motions. Like, okay, can I spread this? It's a little bit like, you know, when you put the glassy cover sheets on your phone and you need to get the air bubbles out underneath. That's how I do it. I was like, I'm kind of swiping the energy wherever I find it into other areas of my body. And eventually I'm like, can I put this everywhere? And that's how I do it. And if I say, okay, I can't get it any further, either it's already everywhere or this is how much I can push it out. And when you have done that, okay, it's here, wherever it is, and then you push it out and you make it like scream out almost. And then you're like, okay, this is how big it can get. And then you say, double it. Can I make this glow? Totally. And then if you can make it glow, then triple it. Now, like you've doubled it and whatever's there, now you triple it. And this is how you create energetic containers in the body. But you have to really feel it. It's not just in your mind's eye. It has to either tingle or it has to feel warm or it has to some kind of the energy wherever it is, it has to stream out and it has to, maybe it's pulsating, maybe it's whatever it is. It has to have a sacred energy. And any positive emotion, if you have a negative connotation for it, it's not the positive emotion, it's something else. You're not actually feeling love if you're afraid of it. At the same time, you're not actually feeling joy if at the same time you think that's too much. That's not joy. There's something else mixed in it. Positive emotion is purely positive. And yes, it has all the other things in there underneath, but they're not something, there is no doubt that this is right. You know what I mean? There is no is this the right emotion? You can, and whatever you call playfulness, it's purely positive, but it will feel a bit different to each of you. It's like if I'm grieving, it feels different than if any of you are grieving, but I can still recognize it. Oh, this is grief. Same with playfulness. So any kind of, you can also take joy, or you can take peace, deep inner peace. There's nothing in there, in any of these emotions, that make you doubt that it's the correct one, or wonder if that's enough or too much. That's another emotion, and you're not there. So That's how you create energetic containers. And you can try it whenever you're like, I'm so, I don't know, fed up right now. Put a post-it note somewhere where you usually stand, sit, lie when you're not happy. I don't know if it's your bed, your desk, your bathroom, or you can also put it somewhere where you're constantly walking by or going to, like the bathroom or the kitchen or the fridge, you know, these places that you frequent a lot. Put a post-it there with one emotion that you want to make more space for in your life. And make sure that you read it. And when you read it, locate it and make it a bit bigger, just a bit. Things are going to shift in your life if you do that a lot. So your bliss actually flows from your inside into your structure. That's what we're doing. Inner work into outer work, inner structure into outer structure. And the only thing, I think one of the most important things when it comes to having a blissful life, which means you have resources and you have impact and all of that, inner structure to outer structure, plus tech, plus AI, plus outer impact as invisibility, in that order, always in that order. Because if you don't do the inner work first and you create structure, you kind of, it's like a blindflug. How do we say that in English? That's like a blind hunt for things, you know, because you don't know what you're actually building and why. What's the motivation? And from what energy do I do it? From what state? From what emotion? Do I do it to prove something? Do I do it to feel safe? Do I do it to enjoy myself? First of all, find out what makes you happy, not the others, you. What makes you happy without having to make money or having to have a result and without anybody applauding you and without anybody in the world seeing that? What do you want to express if you have no audience? Just for yourself. I do my Instagram stories every morning because that's my conversation with myself. But everybody's witnessing that is beautiful. But I don't do it for anybody other than me. This is what I tell myself, basically. And it floats out of me every morning. It's like, needs to be expressed, needs to be expressed, needs to be expressed. I don't even consume anything on Instagram. I just post my stories and I'm off again most of the time. Nobody pays me for that. I just do it for myself. I enjoy it. And then I realized, oh, I just love making things beautiful. So if I make really beautiful courses and if I find really beautiful words, that's my thing. You know, you can just spin it out. And with that, I make my money. Create beautiful spaces. So what is it that you do just for yourself and nothing to do with your work or what you think you would work? What is it? What is it? What's blissful for me? What do I just love doing for the sake of it?